Hey folks, Flash here, back with another episode of Terrifying Tales from the Rails, where I like to share some spooky stories from what I see on my job as a conductor on the railroad. I work for Norfolk Southern. I have to make a disclaimer. My views and opinions of the company are not those expressed by the company themselves. You'd have to talk to them about that. Well, if you like what I do here and you like my stories, please like and subscribe. Anyway, folks, it was another crazy week on the railroad. I've been busy, so it's been a while. This trip, though, this one trip stood out in particular. It's a little different. I was taking a 38V down to Baltimore, so mixed freight down to Baltimore. Harrisburg, actually out of Enola to Baltimore. Start out, looks like it's going to be a nice night. Weather's beautiful. Sun's getting down a little earlier now. Call the yardmaster up. He says, hey, you're going to be down in the coal yard. We're going to need to double 6 to 9. You have a shop on 9. Set it out on 8. And then back up to 1 East receiving. Double up against your MLs, or car carriers, basically. They're called MLs because they have 2 levels on them. Amtrak calls them BX 190s. Go up against 1 East receiving, which is the yard right behind westward. And rip it on out of here. Get going. Great. Easy. We build the train. No problems. I'm checking the consist as I'm pulling the tracks out. Everything matches up. Shop. Find it. Goes out. Go back up against 9 in the coal. Set the shop up against 8 in the coal. Then all of a sudden we go back to 1 East receiving. Pick up our MLs. And I'm going to meet my engineer up at Stell. Ready to go. It went really quick. So I get a ride. Trainmaster gave me a ride up to Stell. He says, have a good night. I say, you have a good one. And we head on down the road. Everything's going great. Signals are going our way. We had to stop at Holtwood for a train meet there, actually at Muddy Run, right down by the power station there. And I got out and did a roll by, made sure everything was okay on that other train. They were good. And dispatcher lit us up. We went right down. We get down to the Conowingo Dam, and right there at PD 10, we have a high and wide card detector. And that's always a little stressful, because if you hit it, we got to walk our train, because after we go down Port Road, we go on the Northeast Corridor. So if we have a car that's too wide, we could hit a passenger train, and it's actually a really big deal. You could hurt or kill people. So the decisions we make when we have to do that are very important. So I always have my consist out as we're going through the PD-10 detector. I'm a little superstitious. I think if I'm ready for it and I have my consist to find the car, that I won't hit it. It probably doesn't matter whether I have my consist out or not. But we're pulling through, and we're almost all the way through. We're not a real long train today, only about 8,000 feet. So we probably have about 1,500 feet to go. And toot, toot, that's telling us the detector's going off. Oh boy. And it's towards the end of the train, but what can you do? So we have to wait for the train to pass the rest of the way through the detector, and it tells you the axle, whether it's a wide or high car. So we got a wide car, axle, I think it was axle 835 on the north side of the rail, which is we're going down Port Road. That would be on my left side, or the conductor's side, as we call it. You have the engineer's side on the right, conductor's side on the left. Fine, so I got the axle. I tone up wayside. They answer. We confirm the car number. I do my math to see what car I think it is, and they look at the detector. And sometimes they'll tell you, sometimes they tell me I got to count each axle. I have a little counter and find it myself, but they're like, nope, that is the car. We're in agreement. Call the dispatcher. Have a little briefing. Before we do anything on the railroad, we always have a briefing. And we talk about the weather, the safety, the footing, anything that could be dangerous out there or different any night. Every night's a little different. We have a briefing, and so the dispatcher says, are you going to be able to get off at Canal Road and inspect it? Yeah, sure. Engineer brings the train down to stop, Canal Road. I hop off, and I start to pull them by, and I'm counting the cars down. I have my consist out, and We get there, I count them down, 40 more, 20 more, 10 more, 5 more, 3, 2, 1, far enough. So I look, and it is a lumber car, and it has a shifted load. And I had never seen this before. The shifted loads do happen, but when I built the train, I saw this very car in my inspection, and the load was fine. There was no shifting of it. And so I look up, and the actual lumber was out, probably about 5 inches, fairly high up, and the strap was loose. A couple of the straps were loose. So I look around anything. I try to tighten the straps up. There's like a ratchet thing in there. I don't have a tool for that ratchet, and I can't really get them to tighten up that much. So I call the dispatcher up, and they say, don't worry, mechanical's actually on its way and going to assist you with this. So just stand by. So while I'm standing by, I look, there was a railroad spike down on the thing. Can I get this ratchet? I can't move it. So I'm thinking we're going to have to set this car out on Aiken siding. But, mechanical's coming. Now, I got to say, the guy who's coming, mechanical, his name's Tony. He is the top of the top. Great guy, knows what he's doing. Half the time, I would set a car out, and he knows the exact parameters, and he runs it. He's taught me a lot. He used to work in a car shop, and then hired on the railroad, Class 1, and then became management. He's actually a supervisor for the mechanical. So I'm waiting and enjoying the stars and everything, and Tony comes up in his truck. He looks, he's like, oh boy, you were good to stop this one. That is definitely a shifted load. I think we can run it. Let me run back to my truck there, and I'm going to get the tool to tighten these ratchets up. Let's see if we can tighten them up. Tony tightens them up. They're looking great. And he says, we're going to be able to run this safely, on the Northeast Corridor. So he's like, tell your engineer, though, I want us to do a roll-by of each side of the train. So tell him to stand by, and then we're going to go up to Port Deposit, up by the public marina where all the crossings are, and you're going to be on one side, and I'm going to be on the other side, and we'll do a roll-by. I said, great, Tony. So I call my engineer. I get clear first, drop my 3-step, and then tell him, hey, Tony's going to take me ahead. You stand by. We're going to be up by the public marina, and I'll bring you ahead, tell the dispatcher too, and we're going to do a roll-by, and then I'll meet you up at Perry, and we'll go on the Northeast Corridor. He says, great, no problem. We drive up. We get to Port Deposit. It's just a little bit, maybe 2 miles ahead. And we pull over right where the public marina is. And Port Deposit's a really cute town, a lot of history. And there's the public marina there. There's a place, a big parking lot where a lot of people go fishing all the time. And then there's also a playground there. And then so we get there. I'm on the south rail now. I'm going to do my roll-by on that side. Tony's going to stay on the north side of the rail. So I'm there, and my engineer's bringing the train up to Tone, which is the interlock, and he brings it to a stop. I talk to the dispatcher and say, hey, we're going to do a roll-by and meet him up at Perry. And she says, fine, I'll let you know when I can give you the signal. So we're waiting for the signal, and this kid comes up to me. It's 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm thinking, what's this kid doing? And I can't quite understand him. He's an Amish kid. And I said, I can't understand you. And he says it again. I said, I don't speak Dutch. Oh, fine. So he says, hey, mister, you got a penny. I was like, well, what do you want a penny for? He's like, oh, I want to put it on the rail and see what happens. I said, you want to put a penny on the rail? Well, I'll tell you what, kid. I have a penny. The train's not moving yet. To be safe, I'm going to put the penny on the rail, and you have to stay clear. He said, oh, yeah, sir, I've learned my lesson to stay clear of trains, which I thought was a little weird that he'd say that. How would you learn that lesson? I also thought it was real strange that this kid is all by himself at 3 a.m. I said, what are you doing out here? And he said, I'm fishing, but I love trains. And when I saw the train coming, I had to come see if you had a penny and if we could put it on the rail. I said, well, I got a penny. We have management here, though. Let me check with him. And I say, oh, hey, Tony, you mind if we put a penny on the rail? He says, Yeah, let's put a penny on the rail. Let's do it. So I figure, he sees we have the kid here and everything, and I grab my penny and I put it on the rail, and I tell the kid, if you ever put something on the rail, we're going to be going slow. It won't shoot out, but something could shoot out. So never walk down away from it because it could shoot out at you and hurt. Oh yeah, no, I've heard that, sir. Thank you for telling me that. It's I've learned that you have to be safe around trains. I say, okay. Real cute kid. He has the hat and everything. And so he gets the signal, and I tell my engineer, okay, bring it on east, and we'll give you a roll by. He's going by, the penny's on the rail. I think Tony's excited. We're all little kids at heart. We want to see what happens to the penny. Is it going to shoot? We're going at restricting speed, which is pretty slow, so I think the penny's going to get flattened, and maybe the kid's going to get a penny. But there's a lot of weight that has to roll over this penny. So it comes up, and I'm looking. I have my lantern right on the penny so the kid can see, and we're talking. And he's asking questions about the engine. He's asking me, how heavy is that engine? Well, this engine is 432,000 pounds, and we have two of them. Oh, boy, mister, that's a really heavy train. I was like, well, we have 8,000 tons as well as that. He said, wow, a ton sounds like a lot. Yeah, 8,000 of them's a lot. I said, hey, what's your name? He says, well, mister, my name's Ezekiel. What's your name? I said, my name's James, and that's Tony over there. We're going to do the roll by. But you stand clear of the crossing gates because they're going to come down, and I don't want you to get hit by them, and I want you clear of the train, if something happens. Nothing should happen, but we have to be safe. Oh, yeah, James, I've learned my lesson that you have to be safe around trains. And I'm like, what is this lesson he learned? Anyway, I got to do my job now. So, but at the same time, I have my lantern on this penny, and what's going to happen to the penny? I've always wondered. And so I'm watching the penny, and the first wheel goes over. It didn't shoot out. I can still see the penny. Oh, boy, mister, I think the penny's still. I think it is. I think it's there. And then as the next wheel and the next wheel go over, the penny just disappears. It became part of the rail and wheel, and the weight of everything just made the penny disappear. But it did flatten on the rail for the first couple wheels. And he said, oh, sir, I don't see the penny. Do you think it shot out? I said, no, I don't think it shot out. I saw this penny flatten. I think it's now become part of the rail or part of the wheels, and it's just become nothing. Oh boy, that's something else. We'll have to see once the train goes by and if anything's left there. And so he's asking me more questions about trains, and we're having a fun time. And Tony's over there on the other side of the cars. We can just see him as the cars go by in the space between. And we're laughing because we're all kids. It's fun to be around this big equipment, seeing it move, especially if you have a kid that you can share it with. You're keeping them safe and everything. But so the train goes by, and I look, and I put my lantern down on the rail, and I say, hey, Ezekiel, I think that penny just became part of the rail. I don't think it shot out or anything. And I turn up. Ezekiel's gone. I don't see him. He figure he must have gotten bored and gone back to fishing or something, but I can see for like 50 yards in every direction. So I was just talking to him a minute ago and looked at the penny and where the penny was, and it was like the kid vanished. So I looked both ways. I crossed the track. I said, Tony, did you see where that kid went? Tony says, what kid? Tony, we were talking to him. The kid's name was Ezekiel. I asked you if we could put a penny on the track. And you said, yeah, let's put a penny on the track. Tony said, James, I meant let's, you and me, put a penny on the track. I didn't see any kid. Come on, Tony, you're messing with me. There was a kid here. His name was Ezekiel. He came up to me. I couldn't understand him at first. He was talking Dutch. James, you've lost it, man. I promise you, there was no kid there. Now, Tony's never pulled my leg before. I don't have a reason to doubt him. So I get on the radio, let the engineer know we're coming up and meet him up at Perryville. Tony, are you sure there wasn't a kid there? I swear, I was talking to this kid. We were looking at the penny. Tony said, no, we were looking at the penny, you and I, seeing what would happen. I said, it just vanished and became part of the rail. He's like, I thought that. So he was either going to shoot out or just become nothing after all the weight went to it. I said, Tony, there was really a kid there. His name was Ezekiel. I was telling him a little bit about railroad safety and how to keep yourself safe and everything. And I looked, I didn't see him. It's weird for Amish kids. Usually they're in groups. You know, you see them out late fishing together, but usually there'd be like 5 or 6 of them. This one was just alone. He said, James, you need some rest or something, because there was no kid there. You didn't see anybody there. I saw nobody. There were some people fishing far away, but no, there was nobody talking to you or anything. Okay, Tony, well, sorry for bringing you out so late. You have a good night, and kind of keep this to myself. I'm really curious, though, because I swear I was talking to this kid. So I had a day off the night we get back and came into my rest days, and Port Deposit's a really fun place to visit. I took my wife down there once, so I said, hey, Crystal, why don't we get Prudence, our dog, and let's go down to Lee's Landing and Port Deposit, go check it out. Have one nice outdoor meal before wintertime, before it starts getting too cold. She's real excited by the idea because she loves going down there. So we head down there and we go have a lovely meal at Lee's Landing. There's boats coming in and out, a little band playing. I say, Crystal, you know, there's a museum here. I'd just like to stop by and see. It's a real old area here, one of the oldest areas in America, actually. And she says, sure, we'll take turns. I'll hold the dog. You go check the museum out, and then you can take the dog over to the park while I go look at the museum. So I go into the museum. I'm looking, and it's a neat old town. And I talked to the guy, the docent there, the curator or whoever who takes care of the museum. I said, you've been at this museum a long time. He says, yeah, I've been here. I know all about Port Deposit. I was like, do you know anything about, like, people overfishing there and stuff? He's like, I go there fishing myself many a night. It's a great, because you can get stripers or catfish, redfish, black drums sometimes, flounder. He was telling me he catches everything there. I was like, do you see a Amish kid about 10 or 11 fishing there by himself? He said, you know, that's weird. I don't usually see Amish kids fishing by themselves, and usually they're further to the west. They don't like to come into town here. It's funny you mentioned that, though. It's like about 20 years ago. I was a young man. I was probably your age then, so must mean he's in his 70s because I'm in my 50s now. There was a young Amish kid that got hit by a train. I said, what? The kid was hit by a train? Yeah, he was putting pennies on the tracks, and he really liked trains a lot, but he got too close, and the train hit him, and unfortunately the kid died. And here's the article. And he goes through some stuff in the museum, and he brings up, it looked just like the kid, and his name was Ezekiel. I was blown away. My wife doesn't believe me. Tony doesn't believe me. But I made her go in and see that article, and she said, well, his name was Ezekiel. So now every time I'm going to go down, I'm going to keep an eye out for Ezekiel and hopes he keep safe and say a little prayer for him. Well, this has been Old Flash here with another episode of Terrifying Tales from the Rails. Hope you enjoyed it, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you real soon.